Karrueche, getting on a serious note, you've been open about how social media has affected you mentally. Now, I want to know, how do you deal with that? There's a lot of love, but there's also obviously a lot of trolls.
Absolutely. I mean, I have such a love and hate relationship with social media because, we're able to connect and network, and I'm able to use my platform and to reach my audience. But there's also like a negative tone to it, I guess, because
Hmm.
we're constantly comparing ourselves and judging
Yeah.
ourselves and looking at each other's lives and they're saying everything that glitters isn't gold and we
Yeah.
we always present this like beautiful life, but we never really know what's happening. And I always think like I'm just so glad that I didn't grow up during the social media age because I can just imagine how hard it is on the younger
Hmm.
generation. And I've
Yeah.
also made, you know, note that like if you kind of look at the younger girls now, they look older. And I feel like that has to do with social media as well.
Yeah.
Well, Judy, you have a 12-year-old daughter. Do you worry about the effects of social media on her?
I absolutely do. There's an enormous amount of pressure, as
Beautiful.
Karrueche was saying, to really be yourself.
Yeah.
And there's an enormous amount of information. And in the last 2 years, COVID, with everybody being indoors, it's the greatest source of information that you have. And it's confusing, it's overwhelming, it's utterly distracting. I'm
Yes.
constantly fighting her to get off
Yeah.
her
So true.
freaking
Woo!
phone or her
I can
So
relate to
iPad.
real.
that.
um, but I'm impressed with how informative it is. As the younger generation that neither
Yeah.
me or Karrueche actually were born in, is much more informed, much more proactive, much more aware of what's really going on in the world, and that has its plus and its minuses.
That's
We
so
look to the
true.
people who really set a good example and use
Yeah.
social media for good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. We really do get a lot of our news off of social media. Like
Yeah.
Karrueche, I heard that you were just cast in the highly anticipated series Bel Air. Saw that on social media. It's actually now going to be a dramatic adaptation of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Is there any inside scoop that you can give us?
I can only say what's already out there, which you probably saw on social media as well. I play Ivy, and she is a social media influencer. So I'm able to take a little bit of my life, into
Yeah.
Ivy, but that's it. That's all I can say.
We are so
Okay.
looking
You're,
forward to
All right.
it.
we're holding on to anything you tell us. And Judy, you got some exciting projects coming up as well. Please tell us about them.
I do. I did a recurring art on Batwoman and on
Oh,
Florida
dope.
Man. And my most exciting project is that we are working with John Leguizamo's directing a freestyle documentary of a musical
Ooh.
movement for Latinos in the mid to late
Yes.
'80s that really influenced everything from pop music to alternative rock. And we
So
just had a
cool.
great meeting the other day, and he's agreed to direct it. So we're super, super excited
Yes.
about that.
That's
I
awesome.
love John.